Yeah, I need y'all to pray for me. Just say a little prayer for me. Yeah. How y'all doing, man? It's your boy Dustin Lyles, aka 411. My video testimony. Tell y'all a little bit about myself and where I came from. I was a needle junkie for a long time, man. I was a real bad methamphetamine addict. It never started out that bad. I never, it was a progression. I started out like most people, just smoking weed with my homeboys and hanging out in the streets and, just getting high. But as I got older, it progressed. I started drinking, and I always had to take things to excess. I couldn't ever just drink a beer. I had to drink a case. Couldn't ever just smoke a joint. I had to smoke 2 blunts. Just really wild out, man. And like I said, it just kept getting older as I got worse. Trying to think of where to begin at, man. There's so much stuff. I started when I was about 12 years old, just getting high and hanging out. And we run the streets, and kind of like I said in one of my songs, man, is thanking Al Capone, just trying to run the town, and I really wasn't running nothing. I couldn't even run my own life. We was just thinking we was G's, man, trying to be gangster, out robbing people and beating people up for no reason, just acting really stupid and reckless. And that led to a bad road. I got put in juvenile detention center for felony auto theft and criminal mischief, but God helped me out of that situation, so I didn't have to stay there very long. And that really opened the door to relieve my fears of being locked up. So, that just helped progress that demon possession that I was under, and the powers of the darkness that had control of me, because then it was all out. I didn't care if I went to jail. I didn't care if I did this or did that. And pretty soon, that demon on my back got so big that weed and alcohol wasn't feeling it no more. It wasn't feeding it enough that it wanted. So somebody introduced me to a drug called Oxycontin, and that's when it really started to take a downhill spiral, man. When I was about 16, I did my first Oxycontin, and I was, snorting pills and drinking a whole lot. And when I was like 17, I met a girl, ended up getting her pregnant, so I had my first daughter, Sierra. And here I was, 17, having a baby, and but God looked out for me. So my aunt and uncle, who I adore a whole lot, and I thank them a lot for what they tried to do for me, got me a good job, and that really progressed my addiction even further, because here I was making a lot of money with a drug habit. So I just spent all my money on dope, going back to work broke, after I just made $2,000 or $3,000, and spend it in a couple of days on drugs. And that really led to the deterioration of my relationship with my first baby's mom. I know that's sad. I gotta say my first one, but she had an addiction too, and it really tore us apart. But I see now that it wasn't part of God's plan, and he opened greater doors for me. So I lost my home. I lost everything that God had blessed me with through that job. So here I am back to nothing, square one, because I'd quit my job and was just getting high and selling drugs and whatever I had to do to really get by, man. And I missed a lot of time on my daughter, and I was constantly going in and out of jail for child support and stupid things, but mostly a neglect of responsibilities that I should have been doing. But when I was 18, I caught a charge that was really severe, man. I was facing about 60 years in prison for first-degree assault, first-degree burglary, and first-degree criminal mischief for going to some people's house and beating them with ball bats, man. And make a long story short, man, God blessed me again, and I ended up getting 3 years instead of 60. And that was a total act of God, man. And, I did some prison time, and I went here and went there, and I got out of prison and was right back on the same road because I'd never really accepted any spiritual change or a spiritual aspect of my life. I was getting high in jail and stuff because there was drugs in there, and everybody thought I was doing good, but, I was getting skinnier in jail because we was staying wild out on Suboxones and stuff all the time. So when I got out, it was right back to the thing. I got out on shock probation after like 13 months and walked paper for a little while, and finally got busted doing drugs on paper, man. I went into my PO like straight faded, and he asked me if I was doing all right, and I told him yeah, and he's like, well, I was just wondering because you seem a little bit higher today than you usually do. And I told him I was, so he violated me and put me back in jail. And I sat for 2 months, and then I got to go to a rehab facility. But, in that time of paper, I had met another girl and stuff, and we had a daughter who passed away. And that I really used that to fuel my addiction and use that pain and that hurt and that sorrow that I felt as an excuse to make it okay and justified when it really wasn't. I wasn't doing nothing but disgracing her. But I got to go to a rehab, and I really accredit it to helping save my life, man, because I learned a lot of things there. I learned about addiction in myself, but I never grasped that spiritual aspect. So even after I got to be a peer mentor and everything, I come back to the streets and did the same stuff for a long time. And, I got strung out on a needle and was shooting up drugs. And my life really hit bottom, man, because I was kicked out of my home. I was living here and there with my girlfriend, and we were sleeping wherever we could and sleeping in a car and tents and stuff. But then I got blessed to come to a youth rally that my uncle, Pastor Josh Bond, I'll say his name because I know he don't care, he put together, man, and I met a cat down there named Morgan George, a.k.a. the Lyrical Preacher. I'll say his name, I know he don't care neither. And Morgan really lit a fire in me, man, and he showed me that, God didn't want me to change this or change that I could be dust and I could do what I liked just as long as I kept in the boundaries of his will, and I'd never heard the gospel brought in the form of hip-hop before like he brought it, and that's what I was always attracted to. So thank you, Morgan, for showing me that, man. And I got hooked up with Morgan and started making my own music. I got a 5-song EP out for download, and I'm getting ready to release another one December 1st for download. It's for free off ReverbNation.com/411hiphop. So go and download that. And God's opened so many doors for me, man. I've got to take all the bad stuff of my past and make it a testimony for His glory, and got to really be hooked up with a lot of good ministries. King's Way and Just Keep Living and Misfits Ministry and Christ Way and Words of Encouragement. Big shout out to them guys in Salyersville. They're doing big things down there, and I'm honored to be a part of it, and they know they can call me anytime they need anything, and I'm there for them. And the same for me, man, and I love everybody that I've got to meet and really come in contact with, and that's all a testimony of Jesus Christ. Without Him, I'm nothing. Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the plans I have for you, say the Lord, plans of good and not evilness, plans for a future and of hope. And I thank God that He knew my future, and He gave me a better future than what I was living in the past, and opened so many doors for me, man. And I do it all for you guys and for His glory, man. I just want to see souls added to the kingdom. And that's really, making a long story short. And I love you guys, man. Like I said, check us out at ReverbNation.com/411hiphop. We're going to keep putting out music for you guys. I love y'all, man. Yeah. I need y'all to pray for me. Just say a little prayer for me.